What's up, everybody? We're back with another Listen to DP podcast. Man, I got a special guest. Some of you know him, some of you might not know him, but this is my guy, Brandon Williams, Coach Brandon Williams, not trainer. Like, that's the difference. Some people coach, some people train, some people do both. He's going to be able to train you, but this guy is more than just, a trainer. He's not just throwing cones on the ground, just, telling you to jump here, do that. He's going to teach you the game. He's going to help you follow the game, understand the game. He's going to mentor you. He's going to make sure you understand your reads, your keys, all those things. So I appreciate you for coming on, good sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and let them know, where did you start and how did you, kind of get to where you're at today?
Man, where it kind of all started for me was back in my old high school at Plano Senior High, working with some of the kids there, and I've been blessed and fortunate to see those young men and women actually to, see their successes of doing life and just building the relationships that came out of it as well. And started there, and I worked at another gym, sports-specific gym, that started to do some things. Then I learned some things, but also kind of create and do my own little thing in there, and they let me just be myself and help see that growth of everybody from there, like with Brandon Stevens. Now he plays for the Ravens now.
Okay.
Like I said, it's been really cool to see the journey for the past couple years. I believe it's been 14 years or so in this game, and just seeing the kids getting their opportunities, getting the recognition that they deserve. Man, they put in the work, right? So earlier we were talking about just locking in and finding that tune. So and now I'm blessed to see my guys win Super Bowls, win a national championship, being a part of multiple state titles in the state of Texas, which has been a blessing to see that, and see that it's just the blessings that you put involved in that.
Got you. So I know that you do a lot with running backs, but I know you've done linebackers. You do both sides of the ball. Who are a couple of the guys? You know what I mean? You don't got to name them all, but who are some of the your guys that you've worked with? That it could be a college guy now, current pro guys, but so who are some of those guys?
Man, some of those guys, I'll say this, right now for college-wise, man, I know Andrew Paul, man. I know he went from Georgia to Jacksonville State, doing his thing, and and he's being consistent in what he's been doing. Okay. And young man at Vanderbilt, AJ Newberry, who's been locking and rolling, been catching, making plays after plays, and learning the game. And also Trey Williams. He's actually, we're not related, but good kid. He's at Stanford, man, playing linebacker, getting a rotation in now and doing his thing. And had a young man named Max Reed, who's at Harvard right now, doing his thing and having success with it. And another young man at Georgetown, Uday, man, this kid it's been amazing just to see all that though too. But also training wise, that's my coaching side of everything. But training wise, I had a young lady named Logan Reisenhoover, man, All-American, who was playing lacrosse at Vanderbilt, but she's doing her thing, and it's been seeing her having that success, and it's been amazing to see that as well.
Good. Yeah, man. So what was that first, thing that kind of got you into the training, coaching aspect of it, right? For me, it was my dad. Since I was 5 years old, he was, a trainer. And then obviously he was my trainer going all the way throughout my career. So naturally, when I got done playing ball, I was just like, you know what, let me try this and let me get into it. And I ended up loving it. And now that's been about 12 years because I got graduated in 2012, but finished right at 2013. So now 12 years now. What kind of made you be like, man, let me take this route of this training, coaching, and giving back to these athletes?
Man, the one thing for me is always about seeing these kids changing, giving them opportunity they can be able to change their lives, man, and having those goals and ambitions to have that drive. I feel like to make an imprint, you know what I'm saying? It's important to see the change and the growth behind that, seeing their successes. It's been a blessing to see that. That's been my why, just to change lives as many people as I can that I'm able to touch, or just see them grow. It's a beautiful thing to see that become strong men and women, you know what I'm saying? So it's been a blessing to see that more than anything else. But that's my why, man. That's my purpose behind it.
Got you. So with training and coaching, from, you said 14 years, what's some of the biggest changes that you've seen with the training approaches, with the college game, with the kids, with the parents? What are some of those things that you've kind of just seen that you noticed, man, 14 years ago, it wasn't like this. For instance, 14 years ago, when I was in, high school, college, everybody and their mama wasn't training. There wasn't 5-year-olds trying to get it in. I remember when I was in high school, and even through my senior year, when we would go out there and do extra with my dad on the field, they'd be like, why y'all always out there? Y'all doing too much. Now, at 3 years old, these parents are like, hey, can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? So that's one big one. It's like now training is a full-time thing. Everybody's doing it. That's probably one of the biggest things that I know is even when in 2008, it was like, man, y'all just do too much. You ain't got to do all that to be good when actually you do. But that's one of the biggest changes that I've personally seen.
Man, you're right about that, man. This generation is a little bit different, man. But I still have the blueprint of how to get where you need to go. But at the same time, it's keeping those kind of basic movements and going, but adding more to it. Where now, like you said, little kids, like I have some athletes hit me up, like, hey, when my kid turns 4-year-old, can you train him? I mean, he's 4 years old, but I've been there.
Yeah.
Got to work with some 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I understand that as well. And, but you don't got long span with them. You got to get them in, get them out, right?
Like, do you know how long an hour is with a 4-year-old? It's
Woo.
like 5 hours. I'm like,
your whole life is like, oh, wait, time out, man. This is not even...
They want to go to the restroom. They want to cry. They want to, like... I'm like, man, you can teach your 4-year-old what I can teach your 4-year-old and your 3-year-old. Yeah. Let's get to, I always tell people, I have some 5-year-olds that come in, but my big thing is always, let's get to school age, about 6, some of them start at 5, because now they have been in a classroom and they understand structure, right? Because all of these kids don't go to a preschool or go to a daycare. Some of them are at home with mom, dad, or granny. And so they don't understand, hey, when coach or teacher's talking, you can't talk. Hey, you actually just can't be right here and then be like, oh, I don't want to be here. Let me go sit with my mom and dad. Like, let's get them in a structured environment first of understanding management of myself as a human being as a young age. Then we can start working. Because I tell them, I'll take your 6-year-old if they can pay attention and have that attention span. I've also told people with 10-year-olds, I'm like, hey, he really don't care to be in here and he's looking around. So it's not even an age for me, obviously, 2, 3, 4. But once we get to the age, it's more about, do you want to be in here and can you concentrate for the time that we're in here?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. You got to have that structure for the young kid so they can understand what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? And then knowing the fact, like, hey, mom and dad, that's why where I used to train back in the day with Call Fast out there in South Lake with Coach Willie Powell, man. Appreciate him for everything he's done for me and even now, and just my relationship I have with him to this day. And what he did for his kids and what he's doing for his kids, you know what I'm saying? But, like, working with those little kids, man, like, we always tell the parents, hey, you can't be in the room.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to do is they're going to lock in on you and not worry about what's in front of them. And if you're staying in that room, they're not going to grow. Yeah. So you got to decide to, like, hey, step over to the side over there. Like, in the other room, you can see a window, but they can't really see you. Yeah. So, like, we were able to kind of have that attention span, and it's been real cool to see that development and growth from that young age. So I've been around from 4-year-olds, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Really doesn't matter. Like if you can get them locked in here, they want it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can make it fun though too with them. But also, hey, you also putting in the work at the same time, so they can see the growth of what they're doing. And because again, though, they want to give you a high five. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear, hey, you're doing a great job. Give them a pat on the back. Keep it up. Keep them going. But also, you still have to give them, hey, structure. Hey, make sure you bring your feet up, bring your knees up, make sure you run your hands here. You know, keep them nice and smooth. Transition always.
Continuing to not only reinforce the things that they're doing wrong, but reinforce the things they're doing right, especially for the young ones. Because a lot of times, especially when a kid first starts training, saying, hey, get your knees up, or hey, you got to do this to make it right. For them, until they kind of get in that training mindset, doesn't mean you're doing bad, right? They are, I'm wrong. Like, no, that's part of training. Like, that's one of the big things that I had to learn even when I was a school teacher, right? Yeah. It's like when you redirect some of these kids that haven't had a lot of redirection, that's kind of for them get straight to I'm in trouble or I suck. No, you actually did it really good, but it would have been better if we would have just turned the foot in a little bit or drop your butt a little lower, right? So you're always having, with all athletes, but especially young ones, I tell them, as much as you tell them bad, you need to be telling them good. Now, when you're 18, if you ain't did nothing good and we trying to get to Georgia, bro, you ain't do nothing good today. We got to talk about fixing this. Now, when you do something good, I'm going to tell you, but I'm not about to fluff up some stuff. But for them young ones, like, nobody having a tough day. Let's give him an easy drill. He's 6 years old. So he knows he's doing it good, and I can reinforce it, and then it's going to get us back on track, and then we're doing all that. I tell all my parents, because you'll get a 6-year-old in here, and they'll be like, he got to get his knees up. I'm like, first of all, there's limitations to physical ability for anybody. I'm like, kids just don't. We got Olympians trying to work on knee drive. And you want your 6-year-old just to have automatic great knee drive, and this is their second time ever training. But I tell the parents, the big thing I want y'all to understand, parents, your kid should feel like training is them jumping on Fortnite or going to the park or going over their best friend's house for a sleepover, because they should be excited about it. At some point, we shift as they get older to say, hey, we're still going to have fun, but this is a little more serious. Then you make another shift. Hey, if you want these scholarships, we got to get more serious. Then you make another shift. If you want to go and get these stars and get to a Power 4 school, you got to get more serious. But y'all got to stop treating these 7-year-olds as if they're going to college or the league the next year. They have to want it. They should be asking, when do I get to go see Coach DP? When do I go get to see Coach Brandon? Right? They shouldn't be like, oh. It should be something they're looking forward to because they enjoy it. And if they enjoy it, they'll actually get better a lot quicker. And then as they get better quicker, we then can even, they don't got to be 15 before you get serious, but now say, hey, you've been doing this. We see you enjoy it. I can tell you want to be one of those guys. You're now 10 years old. Let's start, adding a day. Let's do some stuff at the house. But that's one thing I like to tell my parents is they should, when they see us, it should be like, thank you. I get to go up there, not like, why are you making me go up there? That's a big thing I see is parents over pushing kids and they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And the kid doesn't even like the sport and you're treating it as if they're already getting ready for the NFL.
I totally agree with that. Like, I'll tell anybody is this, when it comes to kids like that and parents, like with parents, you got to let the kid have a want to, not a have to. It's got to be a want to, and you'll have that drive. But at the same time, even with my kids, the kids I've trained now that they're, hey, 16, 17, 18, I still want them to be kids because 100%. Time goes by so fast. Because when you're training, you're grinding, you never really looked up and like saying, hey, where are my friends at? Because all I've been doing is this, this, and this. You don't want that. You got to make sure that kid has the right understanding about life. Because the relationships that they have with friends, their brother, their sister, whatever it may be, to carry that when they're older, because they will have a proper way how to communicate with people, right?
Yeah.
So you have to create that vibe and let them have a happy life there too. Or being a kid, yes, they're going to get in trouble. We know that.
Yeah.
Parents will come to us about advice about how, like, hey, can you talk to my kid about this?
Man, I've done so many punishment workouts in here. Hey, you do punishment workouts, coach? Yeah, I got them. Bring them on in.
I don't say punishment. I just say when you get in here, we working. Okay,
yeah,
we gonna work.
Yeah, like so I've had like I've had like so my punishment workouts are literally when we've been the one at fault, and I just walked up and slapped somebody like, you already know you when you came, because we worked out yesterday. You know you do once a week. You back here, yeah, right. It ain't like, oh, you had a rough day at school. No, this the hey coach, this man that got suspended for 3 days. I already didn't handle it, but I want him to come up there like, and I don't have many of them. Yeah. But like I said, it's you done got suspended, and it's the reason why. And these are 2-parent households, mom, dad, strong dad, but they respect us so much. And it's more like, not only is coach going to give you some work, but we want you to understand the things you do outside of here affects the people that put so much into you, right? So just us knowing, that something happened with them at school that they shouldn't have done, that hurts more than the workout for them, right? Compared to a lot of times, your trainer might not know that you done got in trouble at school or whatever, so you can walk in there. But, like, it's good for a kid to know, like, hey, what you do affects all of us, because that trainer, that coach, that your uncle, right, puts a lot of work and effort into you, and they're proud of you, so they're bragging about you all the time. But now all of a sudden, that's your boy, right? I just seen he done got kicked out the game. That's the one you be telling me. So I always like to tell my kids, like, that stuff matters. Like, I'm trying to promote you at all times. I'm trying to market you. I'm trying to pour into you, give resources. I'm telling this coach, this kid's amazing. And then all of a sudden this happened. That comes back on to all of us, not just you. And I think that's something that these kids have to understand, because right there, a kid, and being a kid or just a human being comes with selfishness, right? And if you don't understand that it's more than you involved in this, you're always just going to make dumb mistakes, because you're like, it's whatever, I'll get through it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's about being that village, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they come in here, even though you knew they got in trouble, but you're able to still talk to them.
100%.
Pull them out, you know what I'm saying? Hey, make them think a little bit more of what they do, you know what I'm saying? So, because you can reap what you sow and sow what you reap, you know what I'm saying? So you got to really understand just the concept of the relationship that you have, because that kid he's going to be more open to you, right?
Yeah.
So, and be very receptive of what you're saying, and understand, like, okay, I just not just disappoint my parents, I disappointed my coach or my trainer who've been pouring into me. Like, man, I need to really change my my life, my lifestyle, or anything that, so I can grow
100%.
from the mistakes and learn from the mistakes. I'll never ever, shun a kid and, say, oh, you did. I was like, at the same time, no, we're going to talk. Let's talk about it. Like,
we're going to talk about everything.
Why
you
was
going to
he
hate me
reaching
for 30
behind it?
minutes
You
or
hate
an
me.
hour,
You
but
hate me,
hey,
love it.
then after that, we're going to talk about it,
Yeah.
see how we redirect, and let's see how we can make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing is we've had kids that have done some stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
they're not little kids, like grown kids that you, but guess what? They back in here.
They are.
Right, and it's happened when my dad was a trainer, and it's happened when I'm a trainer. And everybody knows if you're showing me progress and that you're making changes and that you're willing to not go back down those same roads, we can make something happen. But if I bring you back in here and we see you're doing those same things, I can't bring one bad apple and these other kids are looking up to you and say, well, he's still where I want to go and he's still doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you got to be able to give back in more than a way of money or just showing up on the field. These kids got to see how you move. Oh, we got such and such coming in, but you 15 minutes late. It took you 30 minutes to put your shoes on. Now all these young kids is like, well, if he can do that and still get there, why I can't do it? So I tell them, like, it's more than you. It's more than even what you're doing to help me out in this brand.
Yeah.
I want you to help out these youngins that know that you come through here and see these videos, and when you show up, they be like, wow, not only is he good on that field, look what type of person he is. That's what I need from the kid.
You know what? Talking about that, the two young men, that Joseph Noteboom and Brandon Stevens, man. I know they're in the playoffs right now, and I'm proud of them. I'm able to watch them. You know what I'm saying? I was able to go to games and see them play and everything. But the best part is when it comes to Brandon Stevens, he gives back into Baltimore. Giving back to the kids, the community. And when he comes home as well, he'll give back here as well, doing a backpack giveaways and supply school supplies and doing things here. When it comes to Joe Noteboom, he does his thing out there with adoption agency because he was adopted when he was a kid.
Okay.
But and he does a good job what he's doing with them and giving back, because it's like you can make millions, that's great, but that doesn't matter. What's the things that you do, and I preach about to my guys, man, give back to those who don't
100%.
have it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing those things, man, you're leaving your mark and your legacy. Kids are going to remember that, you know what I'm saying? So it goes a long way, and I'm proud of those guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even to this day, some of my guys who were coming up, they're doing their thing, and I love what they're doing, and I'm proud of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, man, it's a blessing to see all those things. So
100%.
coming to fruition in the past.
So we've been talking about some life. We've been talking about, things that are kind of off the field. Let's make a pivot to, some things on the field as far as what we do, trainers, coaches. I want to go and say, parents, make sure you're looking for guys that, it doesn't matter how many followers they have on social media. Go look for guys that are giving back into your son or your daughter off the field, one, right? But when we go on the field, let's see what type of knowledge they have, right? Are you teaching my kid the sport that they're playing, or are you teaching them drills, right? That was a big conversation that we had this Saturday about training. Training isn't just about throwing a lot of cones out on the ground or lifting a lot of weight or whatever. As a trainer and as a coach, your kids should leave every session smarter on the field, right? They should be, even if we didn't do anything physically, the things we talked about during this session should have made you a better football, basketball, baseball player, or whatever it may be. Those are the things that I'm kind of seeing in training, is that parents just gravitate to the people with the most followers, right? For any of y'all that don't know me, trust me, I'm not saying that because, I'm mad, because I'm probably the guy with one of the most followers, right? So I'm not hating on anybody with that, but I'm saying after you see that, don't be like, they got a lot of followers. Do some research, talk to them, see what they've known, see if they played ball, see what level they played at. It don't mean you got to play at the NFL, but just see where their knowledge is, see what they're at, and then from there, what are you going to teach my kid about the sport, not about the drills, right? You can't just take a drill and put it on the field if you don't understand the sport and understand when to implement the things that we've talked about. Have you seen that like a lot in training, coaching, that a lot of guys are really great with drills, but their kids never get any smarter or develop as an athlete?
Man, yes, I've seen that, man. I actually call that FOMO, you know what I'm saying? Parents want to follow a track like, they got so-and-so, but what are they actually teaching them? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it comes back for me for what running backs or D-line linebackers, what are you actually learning from them? Or is it being relatable on the field? You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can do drills, but if those drills are not relatable to what you're supposed to do on that field, why are you doing it?
Facts.
It's got to make sense. I've never seen anybody try to jump high sky and trying to get somewhere when you're running a route, like in between routes. But you got to jump for the route and high point for the ball. But you got to break everything down. That's going to make sense. That's going to be relatable for them to understand what they're doing, what I do in my training sessions. If that's okay if I can talk about
that's why you're here. I want you to.
So when it really comes down to it, is I help, let's just say my running backs, when it comes to them, for them to understand what they're actually doing on the field, of reading their plays, like inside zone, squeezing the hip of the center, pressing on from there, reading the ones and the twos, or a four tech, or linebackers, what type of shade that they're coming into. So you got to make sure you can find your steps where you're going through and your transition cuts through that motion to go score, or just give me 6 yards, give me 4 yards, whatever you can give me to squeeze out of the situation. But also teaching them how to understand pass pro blocking. You got to understand the pass pro. If you don't know how to block, you ain't a good running back. If you know how to catch, it's gonna have that right there. It'll help you understand about catching the ball, being a receiver on the outlet. Hey, if quarterback's in trouble, he knows to dump it off to you because he's gonna trust you with it, right? But you got to understand running between the tackles. I'm just saying to anybody, like inside zone, outside zone, you got to understand what you're doing there, and it's got to make sense. I don't care about. I'm gonna say this. I always say this to my guys. I don't play checkers. I play chess. You have to have that smart understanding of what you're doing. At a running back spot, you're taking on a lot more punishment more than anybody else, okay? Because, I tell my guys, you got to think like you're a quarterback, because if you're the guy I got to give the ball to, I know I trust you and you put it in your hands, I know you're going to get the job done. So it's important to understand that when it just comes to just drills. Yes, I'll do certain drills that'll help sequence of movements that they're going to do and then put them through the true aspect of running plays. I run a lot of plays that kids are going to see, what coaches ask for, what they look for, from shotgun or from a gun, or you just got to see what's going to make sense out of those type of movements, and just make sure those plays they're moving with a great flow of everything you got going on and what you see in front of you. So that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah, so with training, I think another thing that you have to understand, parents, is that you have to get a trainer that knows more than just what his favorite thing is to do, right? I might want to press a certain way, and I believe this technique is the best. Mm-hmm. But my kid plays in a defense where his coach requires him to use this technique, right? You have to be fluid. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing is trainers. You can't train kids to do something just your way because you believe it's better. For instance, when I was training one of my kids from Alabama, their corners, they like to shuffle out a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I can't be like, well, I think pedaling is better, and you just need to learn. Now, can we work pedaling? Yes, because after you leave Bama, you're probably going to go to an NFL team that likes to pedal. But after we do the pedaling drills, we got to get to what you specifically do, right? And then with these kids now, you might transfer, right? So you might go from one to the other. So I tell people, get with a trainer that's going to adapt to what your kid also needs to do and is required to do of his coach. If I'm telling you, hey, we want to pedal this way, and your coach is telling you want to pedal this way, I can get you to pedal the greatest in my way possible. But coach is going to say, well, you're not on the field because you're not able to do what I'm asking you to do out of the technique we're playing. Also, another thing, if I got a 5'8" receiver and I got a 6'5" receiver, they can be in the same drills. Correct. That's fine. But let's say when we run this fade, let's make sure my guy that's the 5'8" guy, let's go ahead and try and beat him over the top because he's speed. Mm-hmm. And even though we're doing all the same stuff, on a couple of them, let's throw it up to the 6'5" guy a little more. Like, get them specific what they're going to be used for. Not saying that we can't throw it up to the 5'8" guy and we can't beat him over the top, but there are certain things that certain guys do. If I got a back that's 230, let's work on putting a foot in the ground, getting up the field, making one cut and going. Now I got a guy like Turpin that's playing running back for the Cowboys, even though he weighed like 170. Now I might want to be a little more jittery, run a couple more outside zone stuff. Like, get specific to your athlete. There are going to be things that everybody does in the drill, but there's also things that you have to do specifically for an athlete to get better, and that's what I don't see a lot happening. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of guys going out, and it doesn't matter what position it is. You got receivers, quarterbacks, cornerbacks, running backs, and everybody does every exact same drill the same. It's like, no, sometimes you be like, hey, we about to do this over here. You go over there and do those wall catches right now while we're doing this pass because you got great pass pro. And we might have did that earlier with you. These guys can't block nobody. So let's go get those wall balls because these guys can catch. And you need to be over there. I think those are some of the things that can't do it every session, right? And that's not what every session is designed for. But there are times where you got to get specific to that guy's skill set. And I think that's a big thing lacking in the community, not only with trainers, but coaches as well, trying to, fit everybody into one mold.
Mm-hmm. You can't. You got to be very, very versatile to understand what you're doing on the field. And just everyone has, like, coaches have what they want, what they look for. I ask a lot of questions from college coaches about, hey, what do you look for this guy or whatever your schemes, like, would this kid fit in your scheme? What type of guys that you're trying to recruit for your position? That's what you that kid that's be able to bring what you want. Just like a young man named Zane Rowe, the kid can play from a 4 tech. He can play from a 4, from a wide 7, or he can play tight end as well. But he has great hands, great feet, and he can move for a big guy. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he's class of 27. One of the top DNs in the country, and I think he's going to have great success wherever he chooses to go to and whatever he chooses to do. Because at the end of the day, man, smart kids make smart decisions.
Facts.
So just another young man named Javian Osborne. The success that he's having right now, and he's just going to get better and better.
100%.
Like I'll never ever put like a ceiling on a kid. Like, oh, you're going to stop. No, it's if you have this right here, and you got this right here. Oh, you can have success wherever you want to do. It don't matter.
The best thing about J.O., so the first time I met him, I had heard about him a lot before I actually met him. I went to a Forney football game, and he was a freshman there, and I'd heard about him, doing his thing in middle school and all that. But then he was running back on varsity, right? That's a pounding. And to be able to do that in Texas football, I was like, oh, that kid got to be nice. First game I seen, he was doing something. He was having a good game. And I've never met the kid, right? I'm on the sideline during the game, and I was like, hey, when this happens, boom, 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 whatever he's talking about. Look me dead in my eye. Yes, sir. Got you. Went out. And like I said, I'm not coaching on sideline. I'm like, hey, but just literally when this happens, this is what the dude's doing. Plain and simple. I'm looking at it from the sideline moving around because me and Judah were filming the games. I was like, just do this. Stay patient. It's going to happen. Yes, sir. And then you would have thought, like, when I talked to him and spoke to him that we've been knowing each other since he was 5. It wasn't no, hey, yes, sir, and then boom. And then when I see him, like in other games when I'm on the sideline, I know that there's some plays that are just close to breaking or, the game isn't flowing right where he wants to. Hey, stay patient, do this, do that, let it come to you. Yes, sir, I got you. I appreciate that. And then before you know it, 3 series later, he done went for 150 in those 3 series. He's just a good kid, man. And it goes back to, smart kids make smart decisions. Good kids make good decisions. And that's a great kid. On the field, he is a monster. Off the field, he's even better. And that's what I noticed about him from the first time I talked to him. Like, when I spoke to him, you can just see how a kid looks at you and be like, I don't even have to know you, but you're literally giving me sound advice, and you took the time to come over here just to throw 3 little bet. I got you. So that's what I love about J.O., man.
Man, I'm going to tell you this, man. I'm going to put it out there, man. Maurice's dad he's done an amazing job with his kid, man.
100%.
And you can definitely see that on and off the field, you know what I'm saying? Because his dad's been coaching him for little, man. So, just their bond that they have, man.
Facts.
That's a big deal, man. Just brother to brother, like, I love it, you know what I'm saying? So
100%.
You gotta just keep on going, you know what I'm saying?
What is some of J.O.'s best things that you like about him, and what are some of the biggest things that you actually seen him grow throughout working with you and just, getting older and becoming a better football player?
Man, being honest with you, just his growth was being a leader
and
understanding. Because we always talked about, hey, eventually one day you're going to have to take over the reins a little bit. But right now, like, he's very patient what he does now. Like, he's very, very fluent. Just always been a kind kid, never changed from that. Because I always talked about, hey, man, just always be you, because there's only one of you.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, his maturity of who he is as a person on and off the field, and his game, like, when we put in work, like, we don't just do skill work. We lift, we run, we sprint, we do all the
like us.
We gotta do everything.
We do it the right way.
We gotta do it the right way to help him have success of, like, seeing that happen. And then him being around some other guys, he's got to see he was in college playing college ball right now, and having that in front of him, saying, you know, he can be there one day, and you know 100%. Now he can. You know what I'm saying? I said, hey, you know, the work never stops until you choose to stop. But if you continue to keep going, you're gonna change not just your life, your family's life.
Facts.
And that's a big deal.
Big
you know
time.
What I'm saying? So, just he's got some. He still got room to grow.
And that's the best thing. I want my dude to be as good as him, and I want a lot of room to grow, right? Because if you're this good and we still got so much, that's where I tell kids, like, I think they get down when they get with guys like us that are teaching them games, but it's going to bring out some of those flaws or things that you might not be efficient at or things you might not know. But I say, think about this. If you were as good as you are now and there's nothing for you to work on it, that means you're high school good. You're going to go to college, you're going to be a bust. If you're this good now, but there's still a lot to work on, you get to grow into the next level and the next level. And when you get to college, when you're trying to get to the league, you want to be able to say, man, I was able to, you know, rush for 1,200 yards 2 straight years in the SEC, and I'm still not reading this key as good as I need to. I'm still not putting my foot in the ground. Imagine if I actually was in a little better condition. That's what you want. Do we want to be out of shape? Do we not want to be? But I want something to always be growing, because once there's nothing for you to grow, that's where you see the guy that won the Heisman, that literally never plays in the NFL, the guy that was the best running back in college. Now he's just, you know, a career backup, and he's out the league in 3-5 years because there was no more. He maxed. He was reading the keys right. He was working his butt off. He did everything right, and he got everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got everything out of myself. I just wasn't, you know, there wasn't another level for me at that level. Then you see the guys that like an Antonio Brown, who will go to a Central Michigan and then do what he does in the NFL. A J.J. Watt that goes to Central Michigan, then you walk on and you become J.J. Watt. Right? The list goes on. A Lamar Jackson. Oh, he should be a receiver. And now this dude, literally outside of Patrick Mahomes, there's not another quarterback in this league. And I tell people, outside of nobody is usually, he's probably the best individual guy over the last 3 years, including Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the winningest guy, right? It's kind of like that Brady and Manning, like where Manning would throw for all the yards and break all the records, but Tom Brady would win. But if we just was talking about, you know, when they were going back and forth before Peyton was done, he's throwing the 55 touchdowns. He's throwing for all these yards. But then Pat is the guy that wins. But when we look at like a guy like Lamar, you literally look and say, man, okay, this guy was good, but he wasn't that good of a thrower of the ball. Like, he's not just throwing the ball. He's throwing it for more yards per attempt, completing the ball better than literally. There's many records he's broken of Peyton Manning and Lamar and Tom Brady. And then you even go to Patrick Mahomes. Started quarterback late, was still this good. Talking about year 2 in the league, he's like, oh, I know how to read defenses now, y'all. And that's what I tell people. There's no shame in having to grow. The best guys have to still grow while being the best guys.
Get in the book, man. Hey, I'll tell anybody that, like, you got to understand is the playbook. Understand the playbook. Like, I'll say this because I remember watching a video about, like, you know, who was their Mount Rushmore about with quarterbacks like a Vince Young and everybody, or Vince, Michael Vick. But I remember hearing about Cam Newton. I was like, don't forget about Cam.
Yeah.
Cam actually is the guy that's done it. But I know he didn't get to he took him to the Super Bowl, man. You know what I'm saying? Took to a team that wasn't.
Yeah, that was one of the most stacked against Super Bowls ever. When we look at that defense and the offense.
Yes.
And then it was Cam, and then they had a nice defense on the Panthers. They did. But literally, he had Olsen on offense. And then the running back was nice, but it was him and Olsen doing his thing. And the running back, I think, was Stewart, but they were able to do it better because you got a quarterback that was able to run the ball and take some pressure off of you if he was going to pull. But that was what Cam did with those Panthers was what the equivalent of what Allen Iverson was doing basically with the Sixers of playing the Lakers. It's like, we didn't expect you to beat, and the game wasn't terrible. Like, they had a chance, right? But the better team was clearly the Broncos, and nobody will ever, you know, be able to tell you different. So that year, Cam, bro, and then the college year at Auburn, bro.
Oh, my gosh.
Nobody even played in the league on his offense. There was no guy, only one lineman played for a little bit, and no guy got a carry or a touch on the offense off of that Auburn team. That's what people don't realize. Nobody. I posted that, and everybody thought it was a lie. It's like, that's fake. There's no way that's a real stat. I was like, nobody on offense played in the NFL that was on that national championship team. Mm-hmm. They couldn't believe it. And Cam carried them boys like that.
He carried them, man. So, like, that's what I was saying. You got to see the historical guys and do your research. Even when it comes to college coaches, you and I were talking about earlier about, like, do your research who the Texas running back coach is. Charles Choice. What has he done? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went from Oklahoma to Georgia Tech. Hey, came running back coach, got drafted, played for the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying, for some years. And then of course he went from North Texas, Cowboys to North Texas to I think Georgia Tech, a split hair of USC, and then came right over to Texas.
Yeah.
And having that success, what he's doing, and it's amazing to see those things. You know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
Just you think about those guys who've been a part of this game for a long time. Like Tony Alford. I mean, he was from Ohio State, man.
Yeah.
Central, I think was it Iowa State though too. I think we kind of
but he's been a dog. He's one of the ones.
He's one of those ones that that have been can teach guys left and right and help them grow.
Yeah.
And then of course my mentor, Carl Lachlan over there at Ohio State now. You know what I'm saying? This is like you got Alfred, Michigan, and Ohio State, and I get it, man. Everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
trying to learn and grow, man. That's y'all beef.
That's y'all thing. But the one thing is it's been a blessing to be around that circle of people. You know what I'm saying? Like with DeMarco Murray though too, man, at Oklahoma doing his thing. It's just those coaches, have taught me some things as well, man. And we ask questions, and we're like, what, sort of like not just we don't just talk about certain kids all the time. We talk about just life sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, which is pretty cool to see that. And like I said, the game it's different. It's changing. Of course, we got social media aspect. Of course, you got marketing. How are you doing that? The growth behind all those things. It's just it's been amazing to see all those things.
With knowing all these coaches and talking to all these coaches and dealing with kids, I've been I've been in it forever. Before I even was dealing with them, I was 5 years old and going on recruiting trips. So when I was getting recruited, I just took my one official visit because I knew where I fit in. I knew if I wasn't going to Tech, I was going to KU. Family was there. They was throwing the ball. Everybody throws the ball now, but I was going for a fit, right? I had bigger offers, but I was going for a fit. A lot of these kids have to understand we have to stop looking at logos, right? And start looking at depth charts and looking at production of not only the guy at the school, but what the coach has been able to get out of backs, right? Because you're looking at, the running backs at, let's say, Oklahoma have done X, Y, and Z. But, that was with the running back coach that is now at Florida. Mm-hmm. The running backs at Texas have done this, but that guy's now at North Carolina, right? So that's the thing. Like, speak on some of the things that you've seen with, that you have to discuss with kids of, because they get caught up of, I got the Ohio State or the Bama offer, but you're like, bro, you ain't that type of running back. You're that good, but they're running downhill. You might need to be a guy that goes to Oregon. Be like, it's spaced out. And what do you have, as you're talking with these coaches and seeing their philosophies? What are some of the things you have to bring back to your kids, about, fit? Look at the fit more than the logo.
Again, you're right. The fit, the style of way they play. Do you fit their system? You know what I'm saying? From a spread or, pro style or, you know what I'm saying? So just RPOs. Everybody's running RPOs and all that now, though, too. But you got to understand, though, what type of back that you are or what type of DN, you got to fit the mold of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might got this big one right here, but then this medium one, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what medium. If your goal is to get to the NFL, man, let me take that, family that played in the league, but I'll say this. It doesn't matter where you're at. Can you go where you fit, make your plays, do your job on and off the field? They'll find you. It's not hard. If you're making a name for yourself, they're gonna come and see you.
100%.
So all the big names, that's great, but not everyone can fit there. You got 4-star, 5-star kids getting booted as we speak.
But put it this way though, when we talk about fit, I want y'all to really consider this: Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield. I can keep giving you the list of number one type picks that had to leave the school that they were at to go to a place that fit them better. And not just to play, but to become Heisman winners, to become NFL draft picks at the highest of levels, right? You had Kyler Murray, A&M, goes to OU, first pick. right?
I've seen him play.
Heisman. You got Joe Burrow. They talk about the greatest Heisman season ever for maybe a quarterback. Went from Ohio State to LSU. Jalen Hurts gets benched at Bama because it doesn't particularly fit his style because they're like, we just need you to come in throwing good, but we like to run the ball there. Lincoln Riley takes him and say, we're going to teach you how to read and do this. And remember, when Jalen Hurts left Bama, people said he's going to be a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, and if you don't do good enough at OU, you might not get drafted. Straight all the way to the 2nd round, Heisman runner-up, and now we know what he's doing in Philadelphia. That doesn't mean, and then you go to the league. Sam Darnold and them didn't end the way they wanted to, right?
Yeah.
But he had a great year.
Yeah.
Jared Goff goes to a Super Bowl, leaves from a team, he gets a better fit with the Lions. That's even in the league. There's guys that are really, really great. Baker Mayfield. Now look at him. Geno Smith. Fit matters. Scheme matters. Coaches believing in you matter. So when you literally are a guy, let's say I'll use my school for example, right? I went to KU. KU pulls up on you in 8th and 9th grade. And they stay in touch with you. They don't care that you might get Bama, Ohio State, or whatever. And that coach might be at KU or he might leave. But if you know a guy truly cares about you and has your best interest at heart, shoot, doesn't mean you have to go, but really consider that. Because a lot of guys don't realize there's a lot of these guys that are factories and they can get any and everybody. So they're just, I can get the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guy. I don't care which one of y'all come. I just need one of y'all 1 through 5 to come and we can make it work. Find those fits in those coaches that actually say, you know what, like you said, there's coaches that's going to offer you but have never watched your film. No. Just other people have offered you, so I have to therefore offer you, or I look crazy.
Bandwagon offer,
right?
Yeah.
So therefore, that coach could be at a great school, but he really don't care for you. He's never watched your film. He just knows that every school bigger than his has offered, so what do I look like not offering? Really consider who's offering you and how they're interacting with you, the conversations y'all have about life, football, school, whatever it may be that you're interested in, because that's a big thing. When you walk on that campus, when you don't relate to the guy that's coaching you or your coordinator, you can kind of feel that strain, and the guys that are able to have conversations with them, you'll start seeing them like, let's throw him into that practice and see what he can do. Like it's just something natural. They don't even realize they're doing. It's like, hey, I like the kid. He might not be a starter, but let's give him an opportunity, right? I talk to him every day. He's in here watching film with me. Find guys that like you as a person, and they will make sure the first time you mess up isn't your last opportunity. No, I like the kid. I want to give this kid a chance, because there's some coaches you just don't mess with, and you mess up one time, and you on the back burner.
Yep.
Find that opportunity. So has that been like a thing for you that's been easy for your kids to kind of understand? Or is it still some that understand and some still be like, but coach, I got that such and such offer. I don't care, I don't fit. I got to go.
I'll say this. You can go there, but then at the same time, you turn it back around, you're in the portal.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was talking about, do your research where you're about to go. Like, do they have Texas kids that represent you in your that position?
Yeah.
Does that coach know what you've been through this past couple seasons, not just one season?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And building up that rapport, communication, and everything. Don't go. There's coaches out there that probably like they can say their lies, but that's the way to get you. This is a selling point. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know, again, is the coach relatable to you? Are you relatable to that coach? Are you able to like go in his office and have your conversations?
Facts, because you gotta have that.
You gotta have that rapport. Because your mom and dad can't hold your hand forever, right? That don't fly.
Guys think it's just the X's and O's. Remember, you're 19 and you might not be knowing something. You're 18. Some of these guys 17 now, and just because the scheme fits you, when you're having a problem, you have to know that the guy liked you enough that where I can knock on his door and be like, Coach, can I holler at you for like 30 minutes? Because some guys, he's like, hey, I got 10 for you. What you want, get in, get out. And then there's some guy, he'll talk for 3 hours for it. And you got to have that rapport as a young kid, because if you don't get it, you just don't feel comfortable enough on the field, because off the field just doesn't feel right, and I don't feel like I belong here. So, of course, on the field is going to suffer, because you're like, yeah, these guys aren't really for me.
Yeah, because your morals are down. Your confidence is down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like you're not belonging here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you go through those phases. But at the same time, and this is why I tell anybody when you go on your recruiting trips, don't burn any bridges.
Facts.
Don't burn any bridges.
You went there for a reason, so what you gonna be acting like? You shouldn't have went if you didn't want. If you was gonna act out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, treat everybody right.
Treat everybody right, man, because those coaches will remember that, and they're gonna be like, hey, man, I was like, I remember so and so. I know he's not playing, but hey, do you think he can get over here? Do you think he can play for me? Yeah, yes, sir, coach. We'll talk. Let's get him. Let's see what we can do.
And what people don't realize is you could go to, let's say, school 1 is bigger than school 2.
Yeah.
Right? So you go to school 2, you went, you was interested. It didn't turn out how you want to. So you was showing that you was disinterested. You wasn't making eye contact and this and that. Guess what? School 2's coach is now your coach. Because your coach left, went to a different school, or became a head coach, whatever happens. And school 2's coach was at a good school, just smaller than yours. And now he's a good coach, and now he's your coach. And you got to look that man in the eye again after you did. That sports and coaching and recruiting and athletics in life is a small world. Who you see going through this door, you're going to see coming back going through that door again. And you better hope that you treat them right. Or let's take it a step further. You didn't treat your coach bad that you was at the school with because y'all didn't get along, but you finished there, or you might have transferred. But guess what? I want to be a GA. You can give me a way in. You can give me, a reference. You want me to give you a... Those are the things that people don't matter. You're going to have to ask that coach for that recommendation when you be a GA, for a job. You don't know who you're going to... And that's life in general. Treat people right, because you will see them again when you least expect it. Everybody wants to be big and bad when they up.
Yeah.
I tell all my NFL guys, and now it's the college guys, y'all get all this money and forget who helped you, right? But as soon as the money is gone, hey, coach, I see you got the training. You looking for another trainer? No, I'm good. Hey, coach, you can give me you don't even, I've texted you for the last 4 years, good game. I seen you get hurt on the field. I text you, hey, man, just checking in on you, all right. I've just seen red for 4 years because you didn't think you would ever need me again. Now you need me, now you want, and that's what I tell people. And I'm telling you, there's certain kids where it's like, bro, like, as bad as you did it, I'm not going to hold I just can't go stand on the limb for you because I know your character. Right?
Your character's a big deal.
Right?
Man.
And that's the thing. It's not even me holding a grudge. If you did that to me, and I've been knowing you since 5th grade, what would you do to somebody that you just met that you're just trying to get on and work for? And that's what people don't realize. It ain't even me being mad at you. Am I disappointed in how you acted? And yes. Yeah. But if you're going to do that to somebody you know and had real love for you, I can't give you no recommendation to something, because once again, when I give you a recommendation, when I tell all my kids to go here for a school in the portal, to go as a kid coming out of high school, if I'm wrong, and I know I'm wrong, but I'm just doing it anyway, the other 100 kids behind you that deserve it, coach gonna be like, nah, bro, you sent me that clown last time. I don't care. You're telling me this kid deserved it, but you told me the one that you knew didn't deserve it to come up here, so I can't take your word for nothing no more.
So I'll say this though too, because I remember hearing this when I was a kid though too, because one of my best friend's dad he's a legendary coach around here. He always talked about the whole recruiting spot aspect of everything. That's not head coach's job is not to get every kid recruited. That's not their job. Yeah, they're creating to have good citizens in the world. You know what I'm saying? And being good citizens. Number one thing is you got to get outside help. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Outside help is always with who knows you, right? So like right now, I know what I'm doing with my company, with Up Next. That's what I do to help kids get recruited. It doesn't matter if you're from Texas, Michigan, Ohio, or the UK. It don't matter, man. Germany doesn't matter. Like, hey, having kids get opportunities to be seen, to be heard, having those conversations. But everyone thinks their head coach is supposed to give them where they need to go, and that's a lie. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I can't sell you a used car to a brand new shop. You can't do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Someone paid me $1 million for this car, but underneath the hood is only $400 on that thing, right? Yeah. So you got to understand what you're getting yourself into when it comes to that. Like, because at the end of the day, those high school coaches can't burn those bridges with those college coaches. They think that's the thing. It's like, no, like, I can get you recruited to, go play at Georgia State, Southern, Eastern Michigan, University still of schools, whatever. Still schools. But you're not the Bama kid. No. And then I'm going to have a kid that Bama should recruit. And not after he gets all the offers and they know, but early to get on them. And I want them to believe me when I say I got a kid for you early. Like I always tell all my coaches that I know, like, luckily for me, a lot of the guys I played with, trained are all coaches now, right? They're head coaches, so it's easy for me to get in contact. Back when we first came out, they were all GAs and low-level guys, so I'd have to tell them, then they'd have to run it up the chain. Now I just send them the stuff, but they know if I send it, watch the film. Because I might only send you 2 kids out the whole year, and it might not even be my kids. Right? It might be like, hey, man, I was at this 7-on-7, bro, and this dude is
everything they said and advertise it more. I don't even know the kid, but you better go get him because I'm telling you, this dude is nice. And they know if I tell you, it's really one of those. It ain't no maybe, guys. It's
No,
a for sure.
it's a for sure.
This is a guy that I know will be at your school's level 100%. And if you ain't at the Bama, Ohio State, or whatever, Clemson level of
Yeah.
recruiting,
Yeah.
then he's going to be at a school bigger than yours because he's one of those.
He's one of those, man. And I'll be honest with you, from like I have 4 8th graders. Well, now they're they're older now, but when they were 8th grade, getting their offers when they're real young.
Yeah.
Because if you watch him, you're like, hey, he's gonna be special.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna say this. This is opportunity, man. I'm just gonna tell you right now. He has the mindset. He understands what he wants to do. Like, a young man wants to be a chemist one day. I was like, that right there. He's 6'5" or 6'4", whatever, 6'4", who can move just as good as some of your players right now.
Yeah.
Take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So there's, and now that kid has, hey, 50, 40 offers, whatever it may be, but he has everything going his way because of what he's putting the work in for.
Yeah.
And seeing that, like one thing, I'll just say his name's Zane Rowe, man. Like, when I tell you, the young man can do what he can do. Oh, he can, man. He put his mind into it. He'll do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, even with J.O., like, he's been doing, going back for freshman year, some year, everything he's been going through his process, watching them grow and, achieving their successes and doing their things because they put in the work.
Yeah.
I had another young man named Trey Mosley. One day he was working out with when Andrew was getting ready to go to Georgia, and he's working out with Andrew, and the coach calls me, hits me up, hey man, who's that kid working out and who's that one? I was like, dude, he's just in 8th grade, bro. He goes, what? Where's he going to school? He going to Duncanville. All right, bring him over here. So he got the offer from TCU, man. It was real cool to see all that because it's just coaches will see that, like, hey, that kid can move. Where is he at? What is he doing?
Yeah.
What is he doing that? It's that marketing piece I was saying. Like, you got to have that in the media aspect of everything we're doing now. But like I said, when it comes to all this stuff now, our coaches it's not hard to send things out anymore. Yeah,
Facts.
not every kid's D1. I always say
Exactly.
this because the kid, a lot of people don't understand this. It's still up to the kid. No matter what, it's still up to the kid because the kid's got to match up the classroom with the game.
Facts.
If that don't match up, whose fault's that? Not mom and dad. Mom and dad like, oh, he's gonna be NFL. Oh yeah, but the classroom ain't there.
Yeah.
It ain't the trainer. It ain't the coach. It falls on back on the kid. That's why I tell the kid, I was like, hey, it's on you what you want to do.
Yeah.
It ain't on me. Like, I would love to be in here, be doing my thing, be where you at in life.
Exactly.
And take a full advantage of this opportunity. I would love to go back and do all that. But I'm able to, hey, bring it to you. But at the end of the day, though, do you want it? Because if you don't got that want, don't show up. That's what everybody asks me about. Like, I'll say this though too. I've always heard this term, be a dog, be a dog, be a dog. I don't say dog no more because if you ever heard a quarterback in the draft be called dog,
yeah, exactly.
Nah.
They smart guys.
they smart
right?
guys, right?
They IQ.
So, their IQ. So I tell anybody this, man. Everyone's a different. Being an alpha, controlling the room, controlling the narrative, what you're about. You know what I'm saying? You can be that guy.
Yeah.
You put in work. You show up on time. You stay late. You do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to control your narrative as a young kid. That's why I don't worry about messing with adults. Adults, they're already stuck there. I ain't worried about y'all. A kid, if you get in their mind about themselves, believe in themselves, and you pour into them, more success they're gonna have because they got somebody outside their family that don't really know them, but that will love on them and respect them
100%.
and see and want what's best for them. Because at the end of the day, it's not about my name; it's about your name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, just seeing all that transpire from there, it's a beautiful thing just to see all those things grow. And like I said, it's my passion. It's what I love to do. I'm not here like a lot of people there's guys out there for money. Cool. Be about money. That's great. But then you look in the back, man, why is this dude running 2.7 point yards per carry, below average?
Exactly.
What are we doing?
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
You want the money, but the production don't add up to it.
It don't add up.
You can't go sell 3 cars at the car dealership and want the $25,000 check that the dude that sold 40 cars is getting.
Goodness. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my bad, man. But like I said, it's about being real with these kids, man, even with parents. I'm like, the reality of this situation. Your kids.
Everybody can do it.
Not everyone
Not
do
at
it.
that level.
You can be, I've seen 5'10" offensive line. My son gonna be D1. He's 5'10", 300 pounds. He ain't going no D1.
Can't move.
Can't move.
No flexibility. Like that.
You
I
gotta
think
be
our
real with
biggest
people.
thing is, man, and my parents will appreciate it. They'll ask, "Hey, do you think my son this and that?" And I'll be like, "Today, because I never can tell you. Like, there's some kids that's just flat out, yeah, right. But
Yeah.
then the ones there's some that ask me, like, I'll be like, today, no, he's not a D1, or he's a small level D1, but he's still a junior." Right? Because
So that's
if you
how I'm
take a guy like Quentin Gibbs,
Mm-hmm.
if you would have said was he a D1 kid last year, from what I'm hearing, most people, no, he had 500 something yards. I even heard a story, I can't tell you if it's true or not. Mama was even like, "Hey man, it ain't working out. You a small guy," you know what I mean? And that's just, what I heard.
Yeah.
But I know those are real stories that do happen, right? And then now, you're the National Player of the Year, 2,000 receiving yards, state champ, all this, going to Colorado with Prime, and then one of the most, sought after high school receivers in the nation. Right now, maybe not, but if he keeps working, he could be. I can't tell you where your kid will end up in 3 years, but if you ask me, is he D1 today? No. We keep working, he grows a little, gets a little speed on him. Now we can talk about something, but if we're talking about today, no, he's not. He's still 5'3" in 7th grade. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. Today, you're not.
You got to, and that's the thing when it comes, it's all about development, man. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest key factor is development. Like, again, that's what we're talking about, all the whole training, all the other aspect. Like, if you're not developing, what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to see. You got to mold that athlete into something, that he can fit into and then teach him a part of the other part of the game from D tackles, 5'10", but if you trim him down, go to linebacker.
Facts.
Make him understand, hey, cover 2, cover 3 is working those coverages, understand what to see on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, those kids got time. I tell
Yeah.
them, like, you got time to see those things and having that moment of the growth behind that. So it's like, I'm never going to say a kid, "Oh, you're never going to make it." No. What can I do to help you to get you to that other point? Because I've been around so many guys, athletes, who weren't 6'4", 6'5", 5'10", 5'8", 5'9", like
myself. I was 5'7", 145 when I finished my senior year. When I got on varsity my first year, I was like 5'5" and a half, 120.
Man.
When I was starting receiver in big time, which was 6'8" now, but 5'8" back then. When I got to KU, I started wide receiver, corner, kick return, punt return as a true freshman at 157 pounds, 157. And that's what I tell people. I never can tell you what you can't be because I was the small guy. So I tell people, y'all guys that feel like the underdog, you're lucky to train with me. Because I understand the grind and the want and the anger and the anxiety because I was always the best. But I had to keep proving it. I was like, some of these other trainers might be 6'4", right? You might, let's say one day Julio Jones starts training, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you go to him and be like, "Coach, man, they're doing this." And he's going to be like, "No, you just work hard." They're like, "Yes, we know that, but he's not going to understand." He's always been the number one receiver, the number one receiver in high school, number one in college, Hall of Famer in the pros. So sometimes it's hard. Like Michael Jordan didn't understand. Bro, everything just don't. I know you work, but at some point you became Jordan. So you can't understand why the dude don't make this shot. Like, we can't all make that shot, but the guy that came from it, right, understands, like, no, I understand these failures. I understand, the anxiousness of I am working hard.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff's not panning out. My brother, 7th grade, B-team football and basketball. 8th grade, B-team football and basketball. 9th grade, B-team football, didn't make basketball. 10th grade, didn't make basketball, so he had stopped playing. He was a quarterback. Yeah. They said, "Hey, on JV, you're not playing quarterback. We'll let you be the backup, but your best friend's going to be our starter. Go to receiver." He was the slowest receiver, JV 10th grade year, right? By the time he became a senior, and Judah actually played with him, he's a Division I wide receiver. Scholarship, all that. First or the second fastest receiver. It takes time. You develop. And there was guys that when he was on JV, there were other sophomores that were on varsity.
Yeah.
Right? And they didn't go D1. They didn't even go D2. They didn't even get scholarships. But he ends up going, and that's what I tell parents, it's all right to develop. It's all right to take time and to have patience because that's what you need. 99% of them aren't going to be Roe or J.O. where you're a freshman and you already got the offer. It takes patience to go through this game, and I think they don't understand when you're looking at these recruiting boards and Rivals and Twitter and all that y'all are looking at all these 8th graders that are the 1% of the 3%. right? But the 97% of guys that go play are getting their offers at the end of the sophomore, junior year. Some guys like Gibbs, senior year.
I've seen
like,
guys.
bro, y'all
Andrew,
stop telling me about the 7th grader, like my boy. Your son right now is not Booby.
No.
Right?
No.
But that does not mean by the time they both graduate and they're in year 3 of college that you could be better. Maybe so, maybe not. But right now he's not that. So stop telling me about what Booby's doing, because your son is not him.
Are you putting in the work, man? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, getting up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, or 5 a.m. in the morning, getting with J.O., man, getting in the morning, we're working out, lifting, doing things. You know what I'm saying? Like, for him to understand, like, you gotta have, it's a work ethic. You know what I'm saying? So, like, not everyone's gonna see everything they're gonna see things in the light, but they don't know what you're doing in the dark.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're sitting down watching film, breaking things down, studying the game, being fluent, asking questions, because you're trying to get better.
Yeah.
You're trying to be, hey, not to get better, you want to be the best of the best. You got to decide how to be the best of the best.
Facts.
Like I said, Michael Jordan, Kobe, they were working it. They got it before everybody else, putting in the work every time. So you got to decide what your mindset is, because if you got your mom and dad saying, hey, you need to get up and go. You need to get up and go. You know what? Stay at home. Don't come to me. I'll tell them, hey, your mom and dad got to tell you got to be here? Go home.
Let me tell you one of the cheat codes I tell my parents. I say, test this out with your kid, man. So they know every Saturday at, let's say, 10 a.m., you come to DP for the last 16 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Don't come this Saturday. They be like, why? I say, because your kid just doing it because you want them to. Like, how you know? I say, because I can see how they work. And, like, they work hard, but there's more to it. I was like, just don't come this Saturday, right? Because don't show up.
Yeah.
They were like, okay. And then I said, now next Saturday, or see if any point from the Saturday that you didn't come to the next Saturday, why we didn't go to Coach DP? Because they know for 16 straight weeks
They don't know, yeah.
that you've been there. So there should be a question of like, was Coach DP out of town?
Yeah.
Why didn't we go? And then I said, some of these people see for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Kid never mentioned training ever again. I said, well, a kid that, think about this. Imagine J.O. goes to you twice a week, every week, Monday, Fridays, and his dad just stopped taking him. You think J.O. ain't gonna be like, Pops, what we doing? I'm supposed to be training, like I'm trying to get this work. The kid that wants to do it is gonna be like, why are we not doing it? I say, because that same kid, he can be literally January 1st of 2025. You tell a 6-year-old kid on August 13th at 3 p.m., I'm gonna take you to Six Flags. I guarantee you they don't let you forget it.
No, they don't,
wanna
man.
go.
They want to go. They want to
So if you want to go, the kid is going to remind you or ask you, why we ain't going? You said, or we're supposed to be. If the kid's not asking you to somewhere that they've been every week for an extended period of time, they didn't want to be there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and then I tell parents, I said, bro, I don't want your money. I want your kid to get better.
Yes.
Money is going to be a part of what we do.
That's
but
business.
I want your kid. I wouldn't have told you not to bring them.
Yeah.
Right? This kid isn't a headache to me.
Yeah.
I can just see that he likes playing basketball a little more. Stop bringing him over here to me and go get down. We got a basketball gym down and go get with that trainer. So it's not that, oh, well, you might be getting rid of kids you have. No, these are some good athletes. But I like kids that want to be here because it makes my time easier in here.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hot in here. Sometimes it's cold in here. Sometimes I've had a long day. Sometimes I'm tired. But when the kids want to be in here, like that Saturday work, you see, we laughing, we joking. It would, bro, if every session was like that, bro, I would be probably the happiest man on earth, which most of my sessions are really good. But if every session was like that, I could train kids for 3 hours straight and it would fly by. That's how you want it to be.
You want the flow, man, of those blessings that come like that. Because, like I said, I'm going back with Willie Powell, man, just his way of understanding with training and coaching, the way he demeanors, like he does a good job with all those kids, man. And no one doesn't even know, but like I have to say this, like the class of 26 for South Lake, that's his squad.
Yeah.
Because he's been having those kids, like, I think, in elementary. And I've been blessed in being a part of those kids when they were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, success for those kids that are still playing that got to be with Willie.
Yeah.
Now, every parent I can tell you is they're grateful for those moments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I got to give out a shout out for that because he's
100%.
he's
He
the
follows
foundation.
me. I follow him. You know, we've done. He's trained some of my NFL guys back in the day. So when I was training my NFL DBs, when I first got into the NFL scene when I was 24, they would go to him to do all their speed work and all that. And,
Yep.
yeah, and then some other guys as well. But yeah, he was one of the names that always popped up. Always popped up.
And I always say this: you can't say nothing bad about Willie Powell. You can't. 'Cause
Man.
you know why? He knows it's the respect of who he is as a man.
Facts.
You know, as a father, what he's done for his kids, like, dude, you know, his family, just alone his wife, everybody, just that foundation that they have, man, it's a beautiful thing to see, and I've been blessed to be around that.
Yeah.
And hey, man, one day I get to have that myself one day. But,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just who he is, the way he carries himself, it shows through and through. That's why people ask me, Jalen Powell. Well, first of all, Jalen, there's some things that Jalen has done for himself.
Yeah.
And everybody, his dad got him. I was like, oh, no.
That's what they used to say about my dad. My dad.
Yeah.
Only reason why is because of that. No, you got to make plays still, bro. Come on now. Let's stop playing. Like, there's some exceptions, right? I ain't going to. The Bronny James, everyone, right? But we're not. But most people aren't that, right?
No,
most people don't got enough power to move the needle like that. And that's what used to happen to me, and used to make me so mad, especially being one of the smaller guys, right? I'm like, bro, my dad ain't got enough say in the world to get a 5'5", 120 guy on varsity in the hardest district in the state. Like, there ain't no way. That used to tick me off. So any kid that's actually putting in that work and people are putting that on them, like, no, don't do that. Don't do that, because that kid would be good without the connection of his dad into whatever you believe that runs deep into this school or whatever.
It's the foundation that's been built around that family, man. Like, I can just tell you, like, when seeing him as a kid, I can just say, oh yeah, he's gonna make it one day.
Yeah.
On his own, because he wanted that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and just knowing the history and everything, but like, that's why Jalen where he needs to be at, man. Like, he's going to Michigan. He's going, making a name for himself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's important, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
But he understands his foundation, where it came from.
Yeah.
And that will never leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm grateful for those moments and in that relationship I have. And so, man, I'll tell you this. Make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Yo, because your mom and dad can't do it for you, bro. We seen pro guys and dads like that whole situation. LeBron is cool, but like
I said, but even the other pro guys, they can't get this all, or the whole NBA would be only pro kids.
Like Ray Lewis, Deion's older son. Like we can go off.
Shaq's son, like Shaq is Shaq. Like,
but
you got to put that work in.
You got to put the work in. You got to put the work.
Let me tell you whose son that I like and dad does it right. Gilbert Arenas.
Yes.
And him. He like, you ain't about to go to them big old schools. Stay here with kids you grew up with and make them better.
Yep.
He said, forget all the NIL stuff. That'll come. Work. We're going to put up 300 makes before every day of school, and we're going to work. I like Gil be on his pod talking, and that's what you do, right? It's branding, it's marketing, it's all that. But what he's doing for his son and how he's developing his son, he's doing it the right way.
He is.
I'm not going to move you to Sierra Canyon or Oak Hill, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he's like, I think you would be better off, since you're already good, making other guys better than just being able to make a bad play and throw the ball up and somebody's flying through the air catching the oop when it actually should be a turnover. Yeah. If you were playing on an equal, playing level of other guys that are like your team. Because that's what happens to some of these guys that even in football that might go to a Duncanville or some DeSoto kids IMG, or soccer, right? IMG is like you, or even Bama when they go to the league. You're around so many good guys on your team. When you make a mistake, it gets covered up immediately. Mm-hmm. When everybody is like Bama, which is the NFL, you make a mistake, it's gone, it's out, right? You leave the Duncanville or DeSoto, if you make a mistake, you don't got Booby over there, or you ain't got big dude blocking for you. You have to be your own man. Mm-hmm. And at some point, if you make it far enough, which is to the league, now everybody is their own man out there, and it don't matter. But you can go be a really good guy at DeSoto or Duncanville, and then go to Ohio State, Bama, where you get covered up again. But if you go to where you want to go, now I don't care if you on the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, whoever, everybody can make a play out there, and guys can't just, cake for you. Yeah. You might get lucky to play next to Ed Reed, but for 99% of guys, you better be him, because we will expose you quick. That's a big thing I do know about, like, guys trying to place kids in certain situations. You will, and it can advance you. That's the whole point. But at some point, you got to be one of those guys. You can't get hit forever.
No, man, you better be able to pick up your cross and go with it, dog. Because at the same time, is if you lacking, you lacking.
Yeah.
But that's part of the growth, though. Like, if you're lacking, man, like, that's when you take the time to learn and get better, right? It doesn't matter if you got 5 stars around you. That's great, but at the end of the day, they can't carry you either. You
got to make your plays.
You got to make your plays. You got to do your job. Because I'll say this. You're like, going back to just doing your job, man. In fact, win or losing, losing, win or losses, whatever. I'm just going to say this. If a coach watches your film, doesn't matter if you're winning or losing, they turn that on, and you went 4-7, but you're getting a D1 offers because you're doing your job. I'm watching you do your job, and you're not giving up either.
Right.
You're still making plays after plays, going down the line, getting the line back, getting the D in, the D tackle. Like you're still doing it. So everything you earned is because what you didn't stop.
You did your job. It don't matter that the receiver dropped the game-winning touchdown. I went for 150. I protected the ball. The pass pro was nice. I was a leader. I can't make us win every game. That's football. It's too many entities, right? Basketball is a little easier to control, right? That's why you see a franchise go from like LeBron and he can move in the team line. Football is not that. I can only do my job. And one dude literally lining up 10 of us do our job. One dude's lined up on the ball and he shouldn't be. We score a 90-yard touchdown. Bring that back. Right? That's football. So in football, you do your job, man, and it doesn't really, especially if you're not a quarterback more obviously winning, but if you play any other position than that, they know like all you can do is your job. I can't snap the ball, I can't block. Receiver, Justin Jefferson, he only can get open. I can't make you throw the ball and I can't make y'all protect the quarterback to get me the ball. But I did my job, and when I get chances to make plays, I make plays, and it'll be respected and it will be seen. Like, there'll be a guy that might not have a lot of yards and get a big contract. They'll be like, bro, look who his quarterback is. Imagine, for instance, Saquon. Most yards he ever had in a year was 1,200. Look at the team you're on. You get in a good spot. The talent's been there. You've been doing your job. It's just the people around you hadn't been able to do their job as good as the guys can do now. So that's a big thing. But what I'm gonna say is we could go on for hours and hours and hours, and we're gonna do a part 2 because we're gonna get into 7-on-7. I even want to get into next 7-on-7. Get into more of recruiting when it comes to going to camps, right?
Yes, sir.
Understanding is the coach that's even recruiting you going to be there, right? Like for instance, I got kids going to, let's say, a Texas, a KU, or Georgia camp, but they're a running back, and the running back coach ain't even gonna be on campus. Like, the whole point was to show the running back coach, or at least the guy that's in your area recruiting you, right, that what you can do so they can take it back. Like, if the lineman coach doesn't recruit you and he's not grading you out, don't go there. Want to go do that. Want to talk about going to, these big camps. Do you even know the drills before you go there? That's failing. You're going to fail a test that you could have passed if you would have known it. So I want to get into 7-on-7, right? Sir. Things that are happening off the main field of play. 7-on camps. And like recruiting stuff of that can help kids, because we already dropped a lot of gems. But I think there's a lot of things that people don't understand when going to certain camps of like also, hey, your kid's a SFA type of talent. Why are you going to the Ohio State camp? You spent a lot of money, time, energy, effort, when not only you could have saved that $4,000 to fly up there, stay in a hotel, do this and that, and you could have spent that on training. Right? Stayed home and trained. Go to SFA, go to Tarleton, go to camps where you belong. So that's one thing I want to get on next time is some things off the field where parents mess up with recruiting because they're not spending their time, money, and energy in the right places. They're going to camps and showcases that might not, matter. Like if me and you just throw a random showcase for $300 and you could go to the TCU camp for $50, why would you come to ours? Like, know that now if we doing it and we say, hey, we got Saban out there, we got Choice out there. Now it's like, hold on, that makes sense. But there's a lot of camps that guys throw, and I'm not calling out anybody specific, but there's camps that y'all are going to spending money on, especially now a little kid, that's different. Go to your little summer camps and all that. But if you're a junior in high school and you're going through a camp and there's not a guy that can write an article on Rivals or On 3 about you, there ain't no coaches there, there ain't no guys that hold any weight anywhere, no. What are you spending that time there for? You might as well went to him or me or somebody and just went to your trainer and spent that money with them.
Oh, man, like, I'll say this. All it is, hey, I want to get looks, take pictures. Cool. But ain't nobody out there watching you. Ain't no coaches really evaluating you, anything like that.
Well, I done seen dudes have SMU, TCU, Georgia, OU, Texas, all these unofficial visit pictures and ain't got an offer from a D2.
No. Again, that's why I always go back. It's on the kid.
Facts.
It's always on the kid.
Facts.
What are you really, you know what I'm saying? So all that stuff don't matter. Don't waste your time and effort to go to these big places when you're not that guy.
Facts. And like I
If you-
said, that's a big thing. It's just understanding who you are.
Yeah, and if you're a junior, you're going those places. Really think about it, because that's your last time doing it.
Yep.
You better go somewhere you go fit in, because at the end of the day, they already moved on. You know what I'm saying? So, but the young cats, go ahead, man. You know, check some things out. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta do that. Kind of do your research behind it. You know, see some things, but don't go back every time because
Facts.
they ain't gonna offer you.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
See kids go to school 7 times.
Yeah.
For what?
For what?
Why are you and it be like big schools, Texas? Like, bro, you don't even have. Once again, this is no hate. You have no offer for anybody from D2, D3, NAIA, and Texas is not recruiting you. Stop going up there with J.O. J.O. got the offer. You going up there to be a friend? Like, no, bro. Figure out what you could be doing. J.O. is actually doing what his job is to be going there. You could be training or doing something so one day your boy will want to go to, I don't care if it's Tarleton, your visit to Tarleton with you.
Going to do all those things, man. Like, it's, again, everybody's journey is different. Keep it in 100%. So
Everybody can't get there. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on through, my guy.
Sir. Say no less, brother.
Man, like I said, Coach Brandon Williams.
Yes, sir.
Follow him. What is your stuff on IG and Twitter?
Man, right, man, I just changed that thing, man. It's Coach B-Will _ no, Coach B-Will, Coach _ B-Will 11.
Okay.
So,
On both?
no, on one. I gotta do my other one real quick. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, man,
I
we'll make sure we get everything for him linked for y'all. You'll be seeing him around a lot more with us. If you haven't, make sure you like, subscribe, share, man, and we appreciate you for listening. I know we went on for a little bit, but y'all have to hear this. If you're not hearing this and if you don't know it, you're really, walking in circles going nowhere, because it's more than just making a couple of plays on the field to get to where you need to be. So make sure that you tap in anytime that you see these videos that drop on Thursdays. We're trying to give information not only through maybe a coach or a trainer, but we have other players that you might know that are going through the process, and you can pick up on so many small things that you didn't realize that'll save you for time, energy, money, or whatever you need. And you can make sure you're going to where you need to be and not, bouncing around and never get to, the spot that would actually landed you to a place that you wanted to go. So once again, like, subscribe, comment, do all that. We out.
Yes, sir.